is finally launch week and we're just on the cusp of jumping into Battlefield 6 in its entirety. Today we're going to be running down 30 plus things you need to know before launch of Battlefield 6 to get you ready to hit the ground running. Drop your thoughts as we go along, drop a like if you enjoy the video or you find it at all insightful, and do me a huge favor. If you're new to the channel, you'd like to stay up to date with all things Battlefield 6, Arc Raiders, and other FPS coverage here this fall, it is the busiest fall in this channel's history. We're chasing down that lofty goal of 700,000 subscribers, maybe by the end of the year. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, join the community. I'd love to have you along for the ride. But anyways, there is a lot to get into, so let's start out with preload times. Preloads are always important for games, allowing you to jump in immediately when the game launches, and you don't have to wait on any pesky or annoying downloads right as servers open up. The nice part is, global preloads are available now for everyone on all platforms, except, strangely, the Epic Games Launcher. But if you're on PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, or the EA app, you can preload the game now, so that again, come launch, you can jump right into everything. As for the sizing of the game and what you're looking at for that preload, it's around 65 to 70 gigabytes depending on your platform. PlayStation is around 67 gigabytes, Xbox is around 70, Steam and PC is around 67, but it's also important to note that there are separate packs that you can opt in or out of. Packs for multiplayer, single player, and the HD textures for both of those that are optional on top of the base game files if you want one or the other, or their HD quality packs. So you can shave off a little bit of that download size if you don't want one specific thing. And the last part we'll talk about in regards to like sort of setup for Battlefield 6 is system requirements on PC. Console hardware is all relatively uniform, but PC is something that can be incredibly unique. The recommended system requirements are Windows 11, a Ryzen 7 3700X or an i7 10700 CPU, 16 gigabytes of memory, a Radeon RX 6700 XT, RTX 3060 Ti, or Intel Arc B580 GPU with DirectX 12. Basically, if you have a build from 2020 or later, you should be fine. And the minimum requirements, the bare minimum that you can do to run this is Windows 10, a Ryzen 5 2600 or i5 8400 CPU, 16 gigabytes of memory, a Radeon RX 5600 XT 6 gigabyte, RTX 2060 or Intel Arc A380 GPU, and DirectX 12. Again, basically, if you have a CPU from late 2017, early 2018, or a lower-end GPU from 2019 or 2020, you'll be set from here on out. You'll be able to run at least the bare minimum of the game. And finally, for PC, is Secure Boot and TMP 2.0. This is a big part on PC. Most builds in recent years, this won't necessarily be a problem as it's usually enabled with the install of your OS, but in some instances it may need to be manually turned on to adhere to anti-cheat measures to play Battlefield 6. So just know that this is a prerequisite. If you don't have this, you'll have to go into your BIOS and enable it, but that is something that comes along as a prerequisite on PC. But let's get to the more fun stuff here with this. When is the global rollout of Battlefield 6? When can you jump in? Well, unlike a lot of games you may be used to, the launch time of Battlefield 6 is not a midnight local launch, but instead a singular launch time all around the world corresponding with the equivalent time zones. This is 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern in the States on Friday the 10th. That's important to note. On screen is conversion of these times for your ease of understanding with how many different time zones there are out there, but in this instance, things like the New Zealand trick won't do you any good for digital copies. All digital copies will be released at one singular time. But that said, apparently the game is actually out there already in the wild, with servers also apparently being up and playable for those that have a physical copy if they want to. So physical copies are out there as stock is being acquired for mom and pop shops, your GameStops, your Walmarts, Targets, other retailers. If they physically sell it, they'll either be getting their inventory early this week or already have them. So you may start to see people posting online that they have a copy of Battlefield 6 already. This, as a result, may produce some spoilers, so especially for things like campaign where we don't know of much overall for storylines or anything regarding that, it's not the worst idea to mute some words, stay off some forums, some social media, if you really care about those types of spoilers, just as a heads up. Now, as for a day one update, if that will be coming, it has not been fully confirmed, but a day one update is often something that does come along with a launch of a game. And we know there are sizable changes being made to the game coming from beta to launch. It was already detailed by the most recent article today that over 200 changes focused on bug fixes, balance improvements, and polish have been made for release, and that they'll detail them closer to launch. So likely within the next day or two, I'd imagine, but just know plenty of changes and an update is on the way for launch. It's just a matter of if it's included with the preload or not that we don't have confirmed just yet. But on day one, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about earned rewards, because some players may have some things actually waiting on their account the moment they boot into the game on day one. Things like your pre-order bonuses of the Tombstone pack, that coming along with the Gravedigger soldier skin, the Hatchet weapon package, the Bandolier weapon charm, the Fallen Heroes player card, a soldier patch and weapon sticker, along with 60 minutes of XP for your career and 60 minutes of XP for your hardware. If you ended up getting the Phantom or Deluxe Edition here, you end up getting the Crossbones, Mirage, Spectre, and Wraith Phantom Soldier skins, the Glimmer melee weapon skin, the Shrouded M433 weapon package, the Drop Shadow M2010 ESR weapon package, the Chimera M1A2 vehicle skin, the Death's Hand weapon sticker, Cryptic weapon charm, an Operative dog tag, along with a 60 and a 30-minute XP token for career XP and a 60 and 30-minute XP token for hardware XP. You also end up getting in the future the BF Pro token for Season 1, but we'll come back to that at a later point closer to Season 1, just because that's not going to be applicable on day 1. That's a future-proofing item. You'll also have things like the Twitch drop skins if you watched during the beta. Any creator on Twitch got credit for that watch time. You'll have the Shattered vehicle skin, Mimic weapon package for the SGX, the Landslide soldier skin, and the Imperial soldier skins at your disposal. You'll end up having your beta participation challenge rewards of the Seeker soldier skin, All-Terrain soldier skin, Dominion weapon package, Lights Out player card background, War Machine vehicle skin, Striking distance weapon package, Bat Company dog tag, and more. And then all of those 2042 Road to Battlefield 6 rewards that you could have ended up getting through that completion. So you are going to have quite a bit of cosmetics potentially available to you on day 1 without having to unlock anything, to grind anything out, just simply for what you may have done in the past. But as for what the full game itself holds, the available content with Battlefield 6 includes multiplayer, campaign, and portal. Breaking those down a little further, let's start out with multiplayer. Just as a top-down overall view of everything on offer here, because we have talked about a lot of these, if not all of them in part before. Your weapons, you have your assault rifles of the M433, B36A4, SOAR 556 Mark II, AK-40, TR7, Cord 6P67, NVO 228E, and the L85A3. You have your carbines of the M4A1, M277, AK-205, M417A2, GRT-BC, QBZ-192, and the SG-553R. Your SMGs, you have the SGX, PW-5A3, PW-7A2, UMG-40, USG-90, KV-9, SCW-10, and the SL-9. Your LMGs, you have the L110, DRS, IAR, the M60, RPKM, the M12-3K, the M250, the KTS 100 Mark VIII, and the M240L. DMRs, you have your M39 EMR, LMR-27, SVK 8.6, SVDM, and your sniper rifles of the M2010 ESR, SV98, and PSR. Your shotguns, you have the M87A1, M1014, and the 18.5 KSK, and your pistols, finally, of the P18, ES 5.7, M45A1, and M44, with 45 total weapons coming at launch. These will have customization where you have camos available to earn, though the exact methodology is not specified just yet. We've seen leaks of these camos in the past. We did recently see the Mastery camos leak that they appear to be a sort of bronze finish to these weapons for reaching your mastery of your weapons. The weapon packages that you'll see associated with some of the pre-order bonuses, Phantom Edition, and things like that, those are going to be your weapon-specific skins, so not applicable to every single weapon. You have 9 maps coming at launch: Liberation Peak, Empire State, New Quebec City, Manhattan Bridge, Iberian Offensive, Myrick Valley, Siege of Cairo, Saints Quarters, and Operation Firestorm. So far, we've seen most, but not all of the maps in a playable or featured perspective. New Quebec City and Saints Quarters are the least showcased ones. Manhattan Bridge was seen in the Tokyo Games Showcase livestream from Battlefield, but that only being showcased at that one event and for a few matches. But New Quebec City and Saints Quarters, along with Manhattan Bridge, while not seen in a public match setting or in too much outside of that, we have seen this in various elements of trailers and promotional media elsewhere. So you've seen probably glimpses of these, just not the full things. All modes, you have Conquest, Breakthrough, Rush, Escalation, Domination, King of the Hill, Squad, and Team Deathmatch, along with anything that may be custom in regards to Portal. Classes, you have open versus closed, though you're not forced with closed. You're going to have seemingly closed weapon playlists coming, but as detailed earlier today in an article by Battlefield, open weapons is still going to be that system going forward with launch. And finally, for customization overall, you again have soldier, weapon, and vehicle skins. Your weapon and vehicle skins will both have those weapon and vehicle packages, those specific skins, and of course, just overall camos. Challenges will also be in multiplayer, so if you want to grind stuff out for XP or presumably what else there may be, whether that be other unlocks or whatever the case, you'll have those in plenty. Your campaign will come along with 9 missions as detailed already, officially speaking. Always Faithful, The Rock, Operation Gladius, Night Raid, No Sleep, Moving Mountains, Nile Guard, Operation Ember Strike, and Always Forward. Operation Gladius, No Sleep, and Operation Ember Strike are already seen and out there in the wild from campaign footage that was embargoed until last week or the week before, whenever that was. But as for the other 6 missions, there's actually minimal out there at the moment. So again, if you want to avoid any spoilers, for those people that may have the game early, just keep an eye open that you don't have anything spoiled there for this. An estimation is probably in the 6 to 7 hour timeline for how long these took, based off of what we saw averaging out the Operation Gladius, No Sleep, and Operation Ember Strikes missions that we saw in full. That's probably a rough average, but it's also pending what difficulty you play on, how fast you end up completing it, whether or not you're going for challenges and completion, whether or not you're going for the collectibles that are already confirmed to be in the game, and you can end up finding for yourself that require quite a bit more looking around for specific items. That's all really up to you, the individual player, but the average estimated time, probably around 6 to 7 hours of playtime. Portal is the final part of Battlefield 6 that you'll be getting at launch. How this works, again, it is your custom game modes, your custom curated experiences, where you'll be able to utilize the Portal Builder tool, a web browser that's available for PC, phone, and tablet. It was mentioned by David Sirlin that he believes this also is something that you can edit in the browser on consoles, but obviously not very intuitive by comparison to the other 3, but this will allow you to create how you want to play within minutes. You have hundreds of options of player count, damage tweaking, health regen, sprint sliders, weapon and vehicle restrictions, along with a plethora of other settings you can end up adjusting, and they said that's only the starting point for Portal's capabilities. The tool sets utilize the Godot open source dev tools for spatial editing, allowing you to transform, rotate, and uniformly scale objects around the map, redraw combat areas, sectors, and HQs. These, though, right now, seemingly only being focused on the maps coming at launch and what will be in the future. We don't quite know just yet. It has been leaked, but we don't know, officially speaking, if there's any sort of blank sandbox map that you can create something entirely from scratch out of. We don't know that just yet. There are going to be persistent servers for those that do end up purchasing Battlefield 6. Each account associated with a purchase will have the ability to have one persistent server associated with their account, this allowing players to create custom experiences for themselves, their friends, or the community at large. If it is for the community at large, there will be a server browser with discoverability options, allowing for players to search up tags and other things that they may find interesting as an easy way to end up finding new experiences. There will also be, interestingly, modes from Portal featured on the main menus of Battlefield 6. So you could end up having your custom creation featured and seen by hundreds of thousands, if not millions of players in a week. XP will, for the most part, be one-to-one here, especially in those official or custom experiences that are based off official experiences. Like if you want to do a Saints Quarters 24/7 server, or you want to do a hardcore variation of Conquest or Breakthrough, those will end up having one-to-one XP yields. But for things that are more custom, like your top of the world parkour map that we end up seeing, or your jet races or something like that, those will be giving you XP for your time in the server. Not necessarily for every single kill being one-to-one, but you'll still gain XP for playing no matter what. But that is your offering for Battlefield 6 at launch, though right after launch, we will see even more coming to the experience, allowing for players to experience even more of the game. Season 1 will be launching on October 28th, just 18 days after the launch of Battlefield 6. This will be broken into 3 already announced parts of Rogue Ops, the launch on the 28th, California Resistance on November 18th, and Winter Offensive on December 9th. Each of those coming along with new content in their own right, Rogue Ops and California Resistance being the 2 bigger of those updates, but everything will still bring along something at each one of those dates. Presumably with a Season 2 happening at some point in the near future, early 2026 at some point perhaps. Now that said, that's not the only stuff that will be coming. Battle Royale, of course, is something that is already announced. There is no explicit ETA on when that will be launching, though it is rumored to be launching with Season 1 at some point. Not confirmed, but frankly, any of those seasonal launch dates of the 28th of October, November 18th, and December 9th could all work for this in regards to when it would happen, but it's not officially confirmed in any capacity just yet. And finally, earlier today was mentioned that naval combat, platoons, and the Little Bird vehicle were all things that the team was well aware of and we'd see sometime soon. My guess, That's coming at the earliest of a Season 2 in early 2026, but that's all speculation for the moment. And with that, that is everything that you should know about for Battlefield 6 ahead of the launch here later this week. A lot up on deck here with the content on the channel, with of course the game itself launching. There is going to be so much to do, so much to talk about, and I can't wait to jump into it with you all. So let me know your thoughts down below. Are you guys looking forward to Battlefield 6 and the launch later this week? Anything in particular that stands out to you you're really excited for? Let me know. If you guys enjoyed the video though, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor, drop a like on it. Of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Battlefield 6 as we gear up for launch and beyond. Love to have you in the community, but for now, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.